Return of serve is often an area overlooked and sometimes where we see the most mistakes. Well, in this video, we're going to take you through 2 essential returns you can add into your game.
So we're going to give you 2 shots that are probably used maybe 80% of the time at the top level when returning serve. They're really good and really simple as well, Dean, that anyone can play. So what's the first one?
Well, the first one is that we're going to look at a net shot to the middle of the court, and probably important to say straight away that that might surprise a few people that we're talking about the middle. I think naturally people think, well, we've got 2 people that are waiting down the middle. We always want to be playing with width. Yeah. And the reason that we're playing down the middle, particularly for a serve that's to the tee of the body, is in the air the least amount of time. So even though it's going maybe towards where our opponent is standing, we can trust that that shuttle is going to dip a little bit quicker over the net, giving them less time to react.
And I guess when we start sort of returning out wide, we also open up gaps on the court, these big angles people can then turn the shuttle into. We're almost making it harder for ourselves.
So what we see a lot at club level is this hard return into the backhand corner. Now, we're not saying that's a bad return, and we understand that why people play that is that they assume that people's backhands are going to be weaker. However, this net shot down the middle will supplement this return really well.
So the actual shot, Dean, how do we go about playing this?
So it's important when we're playing a doubles net shot, and even more so on this return of serve, that we approach the net with a flat racket. So what I mean by that is that we're trying to feel like our racket's leading our body. And as we're about to hit the shuttle, we're kind of feeling like the strings are pointing a little bit more towards the net and our opponent. Sometimes a common problem that we see, Dave, is when people play net, they think that they have to come under. So this is very much singles. Now for doubles, this clearly shows it's going to be hitting in an upwards direction, and that gives the net player a chance to pounce onto the return.
So we're leading, Dean, with this racket forward, kind of obviously the face pointing towards the tape. Now at contact, what do I do?
So you're looking for a very light grip, almost the whole way through the shot. We're not looking to kind of squeeze anyway here because we're not trying to generate power. The shuttle's not in the air very long at all. We favour a bevel grip. It can possibly be possible with a thumb grip as well, but we just feel this maybe lacks other options that you could play as well. So we favour a bevel grip. And as I'm coming in here, it's kind of a light, almost chop down on the shuttle. Yeah. And the reason this is still okay is because the strings are slightly pointing in an upwards direction. Not completely up, but just a little bit. And that slight chop will actually get the shuttle spinning. Now, the more we get that shuttle spinning, the more chance we have of actually getting a net cord.
Now, Dean, I know when we've spoken about this shot before, you've said you almost aim for the net cord. Why is that?
Well, I think if we are early enough and we're kind of playing this shot with the right technique, there's a high probability of us actually hitting a net cord, and it's not a shot that we want to go too safe on, because we do have to remember that we have got our opponent standing in the middle, so we can't kind of hit this too high or too into court. We have to be bold, we have to take on the net court and assume that we're going to play a good high quality shot.
And that's sort of where the technique comes in and getting this shuttle spinning a little bit more, because it gives you that bit of freedom of if it does come a bit too low on the net, it's got a really good chance of them rolling over, so you can afford to play it a bit tighter. So Dean, I'm serving, you're about to play your middle net shot. What would you look for once you've played that?
I think it depends a little bit on the quality of my net shot. So let's just say I play a good one and it's kind of maybe rolled off the top of the tape and coming down quite steep. I'll maybe expect my opponent to be a little bit lower. Now, if they're in this position, they can't really hit anything flat. So there's no point in me feeling like I'm looking off to intercept. I would really hunt the net. So I'd play that net shot and really feel like I'm nice and tight just in case they try and play a net shot back. The slight change may come if my net shot maybe doesn't hit the tape or it goes a little bit deeper into court. Let's just say David's maybe in a little bit of a higher position here. Now maybe here I'd feel like I'm looking off a little bit more because I would have to cover the faster shot coming back. It's not to say that I can't get on top of the tape, but I can't be so close there when David has other options available. So as we mentioned earlier, for this shot to be effective, you have to take the shuttle early. So if you're someone that stands a little bit further back, it's even more important that you're moving as explosively as you can, take that shuttle as high and as close to the net as possible for this shot to still be effective. So we've talked about the net shot to the middle. David, what's the second return that we're going to look at?
The second one is actually a little sort of push through the middle this time. Now, the reason why we like both of these is they are played from the same position. So it adds a level of deception, and it means we don't have to change very much when we go through this shot.
So is the setup the same for both of these shots?
Yeah, I mean, let's get into this position for this net shot, where we're taking this shuttle early, slight angle on that racket face, but it's pointing towards the tape. And the important thing here is we've got this really loose grip. Now from here, for the net shot, we obviously keep this loose grip and slightly chop down to get some spin on that shuttle. This time we're going to squeeze and slightly chop down. Now what that's going to do is it adds a bit of pace to the racket head, and it's going to poke that shuttle at the front person.
So a common return we see is this hard flat shot towards the rear court player. I'm not saying that's a bad shot, but why these two returns a little bit different? What are we trying to achieve?
Well, the whole point of this one and why we're not doing much of a swing, it's just a little squeeze, is we're trying to entice them and almost play with that front court person. We play that net shot first to get them, okay, maybe thinking, oh, I've got to get closer to the net to cover that net shot, and then catching that out of them out with that little squeezy punch shot at their body to then really kind of get them unsure about where they have to go after their serve.
We're basically giving them lots of different things to think about, which makes it much harder for them to cover that third shot effectively.
So if we look at the demo between these two shots, with the net shot, we're coming in gently behind that shuttle as early as we can with a soft hand, whereas with the punchier shot, we're squeezing a little bit to poke it at that front court person, but still looking like we could play the net shot. So what would you actually look for after playing this return of serve? Well, it's half depends on whether it gets past the front person. If that front person does manage to get a racket on it, we want to be looking off to intercept that next shot. Whereas if you get past the front person, it goes towards the back person, you have a few options. You can actually look down and just focus on any soft control shot and let the hard shot come through to your partner, or you can look off and try and take that hard shot and intercept it. Now, we're not saying only do these return of serves, definitely add them into your arsenal. As you go up the levels, they'll become even more kind of common amongst opponents you play because of the returns you potentially could get, but it's definitely something to start practicing. So we hope you enjoyed this video on 2 essential return of serves for doubles. If you want a bit more of a detailed video on how to return serve, make sure you check out our other video on our channel.
And as always, if you like this content, please hit the like and subscribe button and head over to our Instagram and give us a follow.